I'm Claire. For those of you that haven't met me before, this is my second time teaching on the Wednesday class. So I'm just going to get the chat up. Hey, Basti. So Basti, thank you for joining us. He's on the chat, joining from Germany. That's very exciting. Good morning, Jill. So, hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be looking at the nervous system, which is a lovely sort of focus, can really help us to calm ourselves. I'm going to do a poll in a minute. Yeah, so if we will just, we'll have a little check-in. So if we will just close our eyes and take a few deep breaths. That's lovely. And just notice how you're feeling today. And keep your eyes closed. You might be feeling super relaxed. You might have just got up, or you might have been rushing around doing the school run or something like this. You might be agitated. And just notice where you might have aches and pains in your body. Maybe notice what your breathing's doing. It might be really shallow. You might be really stressed. Or it might be nice and deep in your belly. That's wonderful. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Lovely. So I'm just going to do a little poll. Hello from London. Cool. Diddly-dee. So the poll's going to be, how relaxed do you feel? There we go. That's cool. So I think most of you have answered. So we've got 2 people who are very calm and at peace. That's beautiful. Really nice to hear. Some people are just fine. 5 people, so that's brilliant. We've got 3 people a little bit frazzled, a little bit stressed, and 3 very agitated and stressed. So we'll see if we can do something about that and help to keep the calm people nice and calm and at peace, and maybe make it even better. So I myself, I actually haven't been sleeping well, so I'm feeling a little bit stressed and agitated, so bear with me. And yeah, so what we're going to do is start off by just talking a bit about kidney 1. So I'm sure a lot of you know where kidney 1 is, because we do it most weeks on the Wednesday class, on the bottom of our foot. I'll show you a little bit more about that later, but first to explain that it's the most yin point of the body. It's on the bottom of the foot. And of course, we're at the most yang time of the year. It's midsummer, everything's brighter. It's like the tipping point where it's the opposite of midwinter. It's like the warmest one. So what can happen in the summertime is that we can get a bit yin deficient. We're sort of rushing around. There's lots of things to do. There's parties, there's weddings. And we can get a bit of sleeplessness. We can get anxiety and stress because it's just too much out there. So the Chinese, they talk a lot about balance, and a lovely thing in the summer is to make sure you have enough rest in between your activity. So one thing that can help is massaging kidney 1. And yeah, just making sure we have enough space in our day. So we're just going to have a few minutes just shutting our eyes and having a little tune in again. If we shut our eyes. And we're just going to focus on our breathing. That's lovely. And try, and if we can, try and get our breath down deep into our belly. That really calms the nervous system. Beautiful. And that's great. And if your mind wanders off, you're thinking about something else, you can just bring it back to the breath, down deep into the belly. Lovely. So we're going to work with this a bit later on, but I'm going to just teach you a lovely way to calm the nervous system further. So if you imagine and focus on a line going from the base of your spine, up the spine, around the top of the head, and down through the center, down the front of your body, and then back round again. So you keep following that line, up the spine, over the head, down the face, and down the front of the body. And then up, around again. That's lovely. And keep following that line, up your spine, over the head, down the face, down the front of the body, and round again. Lovely. We're going to work with this later with a little Qi Gong exercise, but this is just getting used to following that line. And that's great. We'll just do a few more times following that round. Down the face, down the front of the body, up the spine, up over the head, down the face, down the front of the body, up again, up the spine, down the face, down the center of the body. And then bring ourselves back to the breath. See where it is now. Perhaps it's a bit lower. Lovely. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. That's great. How's everyone feeling? Do you feel a bit calmer? I was noticing I was in the sun a bit too much yesterday, and I feel as soon as we started, I suddenly felt very frazzled and like very yangy and excess and hot. And I thought, oh no, how am I going to do the Wednesday class? And I feel much better just from doing that exercise. And just while we're on that point, kidney 1 is beautiful for sunstroke. It's amazing because it's the most yin of the body. It's the underneath of the foot. And interestingly, it connects us to the earth. So they call it Yongquan. So it can be bubbling spring or rushing, gushing stream, gushing spring. But it can also be called Dishong, which is earth surge. So it can invite like the earth energy to rush up and nourish our body. It's particularly connected to your lower back. It can really help if you've got lower back issues. And particularly it's used in Qi Gong. So often in Qi Gong we put pressure on kidney 1, Yongquan, Dishong. I love the names. Hey Kim. Yeah, and so in a little bit we'll do a bit of Qi Gong and I'll show you how that can work. And the other interesting thing is that Heart Protector 6 here in the center of your palm, you can see it here. It's just right in the center. It's a little sort of dip in your hand. That is used in Qi Gong as well. They call it Lao Gong, and we stretch it open. And it's kind of like, to me, it feels like a sister point to kidney 1. And the more you practice, the more you can connect that point into the rest of your body, and they affect each other. So you open it up, and you can feel an expansiveness in the rest of your body. I'll show you that in a bit. But also, Heart Protector 6 is another really good point for calming your nervous system. It's very yin point, and it brings the energy away from your head. Kidney 1 brings the energy away from your head, just calming you down. So yeah, what we'll do, we'll get up and do a bit of movement now, if you're able to. So everyone stand up. So if we start by just rolling our shoulders back. Lovely. Yeah, rolling them forward. Yeah, and then it's good to just finish with them back, so they stay set back like that. So a bit more rolling back. That's lovely. And now just shake it all out, have a little shake out. Shake your arm out, shake your shoulder joint out. Lovely. Shake the elbow, the wrist, just shaking it out, shaking it off. Maybe try the other arm. Shoulder, elbow, wrist. That's great. And then we'll do the hips now. So maybe the left hip, shake your leg out. And the other leg. Oh, that's great. And just have a little wiggle. Sort of just move how your body wants to move. So. And that's great. And if you just come to settle and just close your eyes, see how you're feeling. Yeah, I'm feeling calmer, a bit more invigorated from the movement. So the first thing we're going to do is do a bit of doing of the fire and the water channels. So we're going to start with the heart. So this runs up here, inside of your arm, and then on the outside, small intestine. So we're going to go down the heart and up the small intestine a few times on each side. That's lovely. On the inside of your finger, and up the outside. The other side. And the other side. And we do it twice more. That's lovely. That's great. Have a little shake out. See how you're feeling. I feel a little bit calmer again, a little bit fresher. And the reason that I'm doing the fire and the water today is because we're in the fire element season, we're in the summer, but we're working with kidney 1, and that's the water. So they're opposite ends of the year, of the elemental cycle, and the water controls the fire. So they're a really nice pairing to work with. So we're going to do some water channels. We're going to do the kidney and bladder. And first we're going to start with kidney 27. So it's just the collarbone here. James Taylor, I love it. I love that song. So kidney 27, sort of the inside of your collarbone here, really nourishing the other end of the kidney channel, because you've got kidney 1 underneath and then it ends here, kidney 27. It just gives that a little bit of tapping. Oh, it's lovely. It's really tonifying. You can sort of direct the Qi down into your chest a little bit. Oh, for me, that's really good today. Lovely. So work down the center of the body, and then the kidney channel is on the outside of your legs, just, well, it's outside, inside. It's sort of hard to show on the video, but just sort of here. Great. Lovely. And we're going to go down to kidney 1 on the inside and up the bladder channel on the outside. So down the kidney and up the bladder. We'll do it 3 more times, and just to show, like, it's very loose, sort of loose fist, so we're sort of tapping like this. That's great. So down the kidney channel. Really good. Up the bladder channel on the back. Kidney channel. Up the bladder on the back. Kidney channel. Up the bladder on the back of the legs. That's great. Have a little shake out. Oh, it always astounds me how much better I feel when I just do a little bit of this sort of work. And then we'll just do a little bit more for the bladder channel. So we're going to go up the face like this, tapping either side of the sort of central point. Lovely. And some over the head, down the back of the head, on the neck. And then see how much of your back you can reach. So we're going to go down the sort of either side of the spine. So can help to do this. Lovely. A couple more times. So we'll start on the face. Lovely, lovely. Down the back of the head, down the neck, down the spine. A little bit of work on your lower back. That's a bit of invigorating. And then the face. Oh, lovely. I can really feel this nourishing my water element that's definitely deficient today after all that sun. Down here the side of the spine. Oh, brilliant. One more time, we'll do it one more time. So on the face. Lovely. Top of the head. Down the head. Down the neck. And then either side of the spine. Give your lower back a little bit more of massage. Lovely. And of course the kidneys they're around this area, so they can be really affected by the lower back. Great. Have a little shake. Ooh, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Oh, yeah. Cool. So we're going to do a little bit of stretching with those meridians now. If you're able to sit on the floor, do. If you need to be in a chair, do that. So I'm going to sit on the floor and show you the small intestine and fire stretch. So you just basically got your feet together like that, and we're basically just gonna, on the in-breath, we're gonna go forward like that, and that stretches all the kind of the heart's Masanaga meridian. If you can't sit like this and you're sitting in a chair, you can do this. So make this shape with your hands and you'll lean back. Like that. So that will stretch your heart meridian this way. So take a deep breath in and out. And then deep breath in, and we're going to go forward. So holding your feet. And if you're in a chair, obviously you're going back now. So just take a few lovely breaths here. great. Just one more breath. And you can come back up. Oof, that's lovely. So while we're here, if you are on the floor, we're just going to stretch out our hips a little bit. So we're gently, with our elbows, we're going to just stretch our hips and gently push our knees down. My trousers are a little bit tight, so it's hard. But yeah, that's it. So like that. And I was reading, Ohashi was saying in his book that you should be able to have your knees on the ground. And if you can't, he said, for 10 minutes a day, just do this stretch. And within a few months, you'll be able to have really loose hips, open hips, where your knees can touch the floor. That's lovely. Just breathe into it. Just a really gentle stretch. Lovely. We can hold so much emotion in our hips. It's always a really good place to release. So we're still on the floor, which is perfect. Yeah, if you're in a chair, totally fine as well. You can still join in with this exercise. But this stretch is the macro stretch for kidney and bladder. So if you put your arms in the air, and they're going to be stretching as high as you can, stretching up like a tree with its branches growing. And the stretch is going to be, we're going to go down towards our feet. So if we just take an in and out breath. That's it. And on the in breath, we're going to go down. So we'll stretch down and front ways. That's lovely. We'll just hold this for a few breaths. So if you're in a chair, you can just do the same. And come up on your out breath. That's lovely. And just relax your arms down by their sides. Have a little wiggle. Maybe give your knees a little massage. Give your feet a little massage. That's great. Around the ankles is nice. And the other foot. And the ankles. The kidney channel obviously goes on the inside of the ankles. Give that little massage. Really nice. Cool. I'm going to come and sit down again. So how are you all feeling? Did you find sort of the water stretches and doing sort of affected you more, or the fire ones affected you more? That can be a good indication of sort of where you're at. If the fire one felt a bit more like a bit more difficult, but you felt better afterwards, perhaps you've got more of an imbalance in those channels. So what I wanted to do now was have a little, a really nice thing with the nervous system is to have skin-to-skin contact. You know, with young babies, we cuddle them and things like that, and it's really calming. But we can do that for ourselves. So like gentle stretching and gentle stroking is nice. So we're just going to have a little go at stroking ourselves. Can really calm the nervous system, so just really gentle. Oh, Basti, I feel like I could spend more time with the water stretch. Yeah, me too, actually. Just noticed I've got a bit of mascara in it. So yeah, so just more stroke, that lovely stroking. Might want to go into your shoulders, back of the shoulders, into the other ones. Lovely. And another really cool thing is sort of when you start to notice people's postures, sometimes you can see where they're at. And some people, like if you're wrapping like this, you can do it with your legs as well. And sort of like wrap up. It can mean that people do it with their toes as well. It can mean that they're really craving a sort of calming nature. They might be feeling a bit like their nervous system is a bit heightened. So just have a play with that. See if you can wrap your arms like this. Just see how that feels. You might want to do this and then have your focus internally on your heart. It's lovely. It's really sort of calming and relaxing. Great. So we'll talk a bit more now about kidney 1. So I think all of you probably know that if you get your foot and you've got your big toe, the next toe, and this gap here, it's in this gap here, and you're going to follow it down about a third of the way. And it's sort of under the footbed. So you're just there. Give it a nice little squidge. You might want to close your eyes. Lovely. And if you want, you can sort of direct it up through to the rest of your body. Lovely. You can also use your thumb, give it just a big press. The thumbs can often be stronger. That's great. So more agitated by the stroking, okay. I mean, it can take practice and it's not for everyone, but just a bit of sort of skin to skin can really help you calm yourself down. So we've done one foot, and just have a see, how does that feel? Do the two legs feel different? My left, the one I've done, feels much better. I'm so in need of yin sort of tonifying. So let's try the other foot. So got the big toe, the next one, and we're going to find the gap between the second and the third toe. Follow it down. And then just under the footbed, a third of the way down. You can often feel when you're on kidney 1 because it has quite a big connection. It's quite a strong point. So give that a massage. Lovely. You might want to direct it through to the rest of the body. See if you can focus it all the way through your leg to your lower back. That's great. Give your toes a little wiggle. You see how they're feeling now. Yeah, so mine definitely I feel like better from that. Cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about kidney 1. So I think if you can close your eyes and just relax, and I'm going to read to you. So kidney 1, Yongquan, the gushing spring. The well and wood point of the kidney channel. We've just said it's located in the depression on the sole when the foot is plantar flexed. The name suggests this point's fresh and active energy, and it refers to its location as the first point of the kidney channel, from which the channel Qi flows upwards and outwards like a spring or fountain. I mean, it's beautiful. You can find when you're doing Qi Gong, you can really feel connected to the ground and like you're being tonified through that point. And it tonifies the kidneys, especially the yin of the kidneys, the dark, slow, cool part of the kidney. And it tonifies the essence and enriches the yin. It's really good for infertility and the sensation of heat in the soles, if you've got that due to kidney yin deficiency. Some people get 5 palm heat, they might have hot soles. It's really good for back pain. I use it a lot in Shiatsu for back pain. And you can, as I said earlier, you can direct the Qi through kidney 1 up to the lower back. It's good for edema. It's good if you've got a lack of appetite. Good for abdominal distension, kidney pain, of course. Constipation it's good for, and diarrhea, so it's good for both. It really calms the spirit and it restores yang as well, so collapsed yang. It revives consciousness and transforms heart phlegm. It's good for seizures, hysteria with fainting, closed type wind stroke, cardiovascular stroke, heat stroke, as I've said earlier, sunstroke has been, it's really good for that. Collapsing syndrome due to excess, convulsions, shock, high fever and excessive sleepiness. So if you're falling asleep, or someone you know is falling asleep and they need to stay awake for something, you can press kidney 1. Great. So it also clears fire and heat, which it makes sense, doesn't it, if you think about it being the coolest point on the body, and it's on the foot, so it clears energy away from the head. This is just so perfect for me today because it's also good for dry mouth, which I've got from being in the sun too much. If you've got painful obstruction in the throat, it's good for that. Insomnia. Often if we've got yin deficiency, been doing too much, rushing around, we can have a yin deficiency, and that can just really help us not sleep very well. Voice loss and coughs, it's good for most things. So if you've got people you know who've got a cough, you've got small children with coughs, kidney 1 can be really nice. Cool, I'm just going to read a little bit more from reading from the Dead Makim. I'm reading from this book. It's beautiful. It's by a guy that's really really into translating. So he's really good at the Chinese language. Yeah, unless that was a joke. I'm glowing, thank you. Partly because of the sun exposure. So, and then now I'm reading from this book, which is a lot more serious. It's got a lot more sort of longer lists of things. So I'm going to read just this little bit. So it's the only channel point on the sole of the foot, and it's the lowest point of the body, which is what I said earlier. It's the wood point of the kidney water channel. So you can see that because it's like a tree, it connects you. It's like your roots are going down, and kidney 1 connects you to the earth, like a tree is connected to the earth. So you've got that. In case of deficiency, reinforce the mother. In case of excess, reduce the child. So obviously if you've got yin deficiency, this is going to be great. And it's the child point of the kidney channel, which is just lovely. Kidney 1 has a powerful effect on reducing excess above, maybe in the heart, you might have excess in the heart, by returning the unrooted back to its source. I love that. So if someone's feeling really ungrounded, kidney 1 is also really good. Yongquan echoes the earth. That's just lovely. I mean, it's the only point on the bottom of your foot as well. It's very special. And in fact, I was going to say to you how it's so it's such a sort of interesting and amazing point that one of our practitioners here, she calls her practice Bubbling Spring Shiatsu. It's a bubbling spring is the name of the point. I thought that was really nice. So when the kidneys are deficient below, pathologically, ascending Qi, Yang, deficiency, heat or wind, it might rush upwards to harass the head. So you can get that if you're yin deficient, the kidneys are deficient, you're tired, you've been overdoing it. You might have excess in your head, you might get loads of thoughts, you might be stressed. It's a real thing. So the powerful effect of kidney 1, Yong Quan, on descending and clearing such excess is recorded in a story, this is great, about the famous 2nd century physician Hua Tuo, who treated General Wei Taku, the emperor of the Wei dynasty, for headwind, confused mind, and visual dizziness, following the principle of selecting points below to treat disorders above. And we do that a lot in Shiatsu, like we don't just be like, oh, the person's got a headache, so let's massage the head. The person's got a headache, so we'll bring the energy away, we'll massage the hands and the feet. It's all kind of, everything's so connected. So he needled kidney 1 and the general was immediately cured. Lovely. In clinical practice, kidney 1 is principally used to treat uprising liver yang, liver fire or liver wind, disharmony of the heart and kidneys, and disorders of the throat. That's so interesting that it's so connected to the throat, but it's on the bottom of your foot. They're the root of the yin, the kidneys, of all the zangfu. It's a special relevance to the liver, heart, and lung, all of which are reached by the kidney channel. And according to a saying of Chinese medicine, the kidneys and the liver share the same origin. Kidney water is the mother of liver wood, and the kidney yin is the origin and source of liver yin. It all gets very technical there, but I'm going to leave it there. But just to say at the end that the kidneys belong to water and the heart to fire, and they're said to mutually support each other. So I think that's beautiful because, as I said earlier, we've got the fire on one end of the year, the water on the opposite end of the year. And we've just got, if you imagine water can control fire, it can put it out. So if you haven't nourished your water enough, you can have real sort of empty heat problems. So yeah, they work really beautifully together. Heat and water make things grow. Exactly. We needed them to grow in ourselves as well. Beautiful. Yeah. And then we've got the sort of the middle seasons. We've got the sort of the movement seasons that work up to the summer and the winter. So we've got the spring, upward action, growth, reach the summer, and then everything starts to turn again. We've got late summer, and we've got the metal autumn, where things are sort of going back to the earth. It's beautiful. Love it. So 20 minutes left. I want to share with you a little bit of Wu Qing Qi Gong, 5-element Qi Gong. It's just a little taster. Obviously, it's great if you can practice this more often because you can assimilate what you learn and really practice how it can feel in your body. Excuse me, I just need a bit of water. And you'll see how putting pressure on kidney 1 can feel really great. It can really tonify your body. And we're going to work with its sort of sister point, as I said, Lao Gong here. So if you just practice, actually, if you put your hands up, that's great. And then just stretch them out. So we're trying to sort of open this point, if you can imagine that. And you can sort of relaxedly stretch your hands open. That's great. And the more you do it, the more you can sort of feel how that can connect into the rest of your body. So I'll show you that. I'll talk you through that in a minute. So these are they're basic health internal exercises from the Taoist tradition. Oh, you're so comfortable on the ground, Kim. I know. Well, let's just do it. You'll feel better afterwards. Cool. So if we stand up again. So we're going to start with the water one. And you'll need what you learned earlier about the sort of going up the central channel and down again, like this. So we're going to be using that focus. But first, we're going to just get into Wuji. So if you stand with your feet shoulder width apart, and they're going to be parallel. So the outside of the foot's parallel. So that can feel a bit weird, because naturally they can go outwards. So the sort of outer edge of the foot is parallel. Wonderful. Shoulder width apart, and we're just going to close our eyes, take a deep breath. Oh, lovely. And sort of just like relax our knees and sort of feel like we're sitting on something like a bar stool or a horse. And that means really letting go of the lower back. A lot of tension is stored there. It's really letting go of that lower back. It can be quite hard to do. And obviously the lower back is so connected with kidneys and the water. And we'll put our arms in front of us. You might want to open your eyes just to see what I'm doing. Arms in front of you, and you're going to spread your, they're quite straight, but they're relaxed. And you're going to open Qi Gong. So stretch your fingers out. Lovely. And that has the effect of opening this lovely point. So how good is that? So we've got pressure on kidney 1. We're opening Qi Gong. We've got these 2 lovely cooling points really in action. That in itself is just beautiful. So we're just going to close your eyes. Just enjoy this for a few minutes. Yeah, and if you get tension and pain, which is so normal, you can just really work on relaxing the muscles in that area. So just by focusing on it. Lovely. And if you can, sink your awareness deep into your belly. So you allow gravity to sort of sink your center of gravity down into the belly. Lovely. It's a really cooling yin place to be. Beautiful. And if you can, just release places that feel tense. I've got a tense left shoulder. I'm going to try and release that. Okay. A couple more minutes, and then I'll show you the water element in Qi Gong. That's great. Really work on releasing that lower back, just like you're sitting on a stool. Wonderful. Okay, if you open your eyes, we're going to keep where we are, but we're going to put our hands towards each other. Still, we've got Qi Gong open. You might feel something between the hands, you might not. And the motion we're just going to do is this. We're going to move our knees up with our hands, just gently down. So you can start following if you can. That's great. Up and down. The wheel of water. Beautiful. Yeah, so when you're ready, when you've got that, we'll try a few more times. Up and down. So basically, we're going to bring into awareness what we were doing earlier. So down the front of the central channel, up the back, over the head, down the front of the body. And that just follows with our hands. Go at your own pace. Up the back, over the head, down the face. That's lovely. It can help to shut your eyes, but you might want to keep them open to follow me. Up the center, down the front. So you can go with your own breath, but it's not necessary. Don't force your breath and cause sort of stagnation. Just Just go with what feels comfortable. Beautiful. At the back. Your focus is then down the face, down the front of the body. And keep going with that. I'm just going to check the chat. Yeah, microcosmic orbit, exactly. Kim, glad you got up. Cool, so keep going. You're doing really well. It takes practice. There's loads to think about. What your knees doing, what your hands doing, where's your focus? But it's great when it clips into place. That's great. So keep going with your focus on that microcosmic orbit. Thank you for mentioning that. Oh, so relaxing, isn't it? Yeah, I'll do it a couple more times. Oh, lovely. And one more time. I've actually noticed I've been bending my arms. They've got into a bad habit. So yeah, try and keep your arms straight. And they bend up. That's wonderful. And just come back to Wuji. You can have your eyes open if you like. Remember sitting on a horse or a bar stool. Open Lao Gong. And now we're going to do the fire one, which is amazing. It's very different to the water. So I'm just going to show you. So you're going to go inwards, and your arms and your hands are going to aim for the middle of the collarbone. It's about here. Okay. So inwards. We're going to sort of go like this. We're going to look down, and we're going to shut our eyes. And then out, spread Lao Gong. So in, center of the collarbone, close your eyes. Knees are slightly bent. Knees are less bent when you come up, but they're still gently off lock. So outwards, and then inwards to that place halfway between the collarbone. Outwards, open your eyes. Down and in. Great. Out. In. Close your eyes. Open your eyes and outward. So keep going. Get that into your mind. And the next step for this, so your focus is outward here. You're spreading Lao Gong, you're outward. You might want to do it to the edge of the room or a bit further. And then your focus comes inward to the center of your heart. That's a really intimate sort of place to be. So outward, eyes open, outward, Lao Gong open. Inward, focus on your heart. Beautiful. Inward, focus on your heart. Outward, focus outward, eyes open. Beautiful. You might forget parts, you might leave your eyes closed by accident. It's all fine. It's a lot to remember. Lovely. And do a few more times of this. That's great. And again, with your breath, it can just do what feels comfortable. Focus out. Focus in. Center of your heart. Center of your chest. Okay, 2 more times. You're doing really well. Once more. Okay, you can let that go. That's brilliant. So with Qi Gong, it's always really good to close down afterwards. So because we can get a bit like, ooh, the sort of energy can go upwards. So we're going to close down. So bring our hands above our heads. Lao Gong open if you can. So this part open. And then down. And as we come down, we're going to have our awareness inside our body where our hands are. That's it. So just down, down, down. Down your torso, through your legs. Down into kidney 1 if you can. Kidney 1, the foot gate. Up again. Do it 3 more times. Lovely. Through the chest. Down through the hips. Into kidney 1. 2 more. Try and keep that Lao Gong open. That's lovely. Lovely. One more. Ah, brilliant. Have a good shake out. Shake it all out. Shake your hands and your feet. That's great. Little wiggle of the shoulders. Okay, you can come and sit down again. Yeah, so well done everyone. That was quite a lot to take in. How are you all feeling? Who, just put a thumbs up if you found the fire one more comfortable. Yeah, Jane and Basti. Fire one more comfortable. Interesting. That's really interesting because also, just on a side note, the weather in Norwich was so hot yesterday. This morning it was much cooler. And for me, that felt much more comfortable. The heat and the sun and the fire Qi Gong exercise was a lot. I've got a lot of heat going on. So Lynn preferred the water. So yeah, so now put a heart if you preferred the water. Kim got fired up and ready to go. That's lovely. Ah, great. Nice one, Angie. That's great. Ah, so it's really balanced. Yeah, it's pretty balanced. That's so interesting. Yeah, I think the water one can be so calming. But yeah, you can look it up online. It's basically 5 element Qi Gong. So you can learn the other ones. There's obviously 3 more. So, thanks, Laura. Yeah, I'm glad you've enjoyed the class. So yeah, what we'll do, we'll have a little check-in. We're just going to shut our eyes and just relax for a minute. Nothing really to do. We've been learning quite a lot. You've listened to me talk. So just shut your eyes. Just sit for a minute. See how we're feeling. I might want to let out a sigh. That's really interesting with the summertime because you saw with the fire, you could it's very much about bringing the inside out, showing the world. You know, you look at nature and the roses and they're just ready to show the world their beauty. They're like, hello. And one thing that's really useful for the fire element in this time of year is your voice. So the heart and the throat are so connected. And the voice shows the outside world what you have to offer. So things like singing and chanting, beautiful for this time of year and for the fire element. Yeah, so yeah, just sitting. Might be aware of our breath again. We might gently notice what our mind is showing us, what we're going to be doing after this class. Lovely, just settling, just sitting. Nothing to do. And gratitude for all these lovely people that have come to the class with you. We're all in this, been doing the same exercise all over the world. Beautiful. And gratitude to Basti in Germany. He's still showing up and helping with the chat. Thank you, Basti. And also thanks from me, because actually I had a real sort of panic earlier, and if you noticed it, thanks for bearing with me. Shows how strong these exercises can be. Can really help us to come back to ourselves. So just sitting. Lovely. You might have the sun coming through your window, a bit more fire. You might have rain. Whatever we have around us, we're stiller inside ourselves. It's great. Thank you, everyone. So if you open your eyes, if you like, you can just read, just write a little word about how you're feeling. I'm going to put a little heart in the chat. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, whoever's on next week. Oh, do you know what? I forgot to put the slide up. I'm going to show you that before we go. Ah, that's good. Peaceful and positive, Sarah. That's fantastic. Well done. So look, kidney 1, you can see it there now. Gushing spring, most yin point, descending excess yang from the head, which I imagine most people need at some point, and calmed your spirit. And then let's just finish by just massaging our own kidney 1, just to bring us back down even further. So maybe use your thumbs, just in a relaxed way, just massage kidney 1. Calmer and stronger, Angie, that's brilliant. I'll leave the slide up there. Lovely. We'll do the other foot. You might be feeling more open now, kidney 1. Now you've done your Qi Gong. Put pressure on it. You can practice that at home, see if it gets stronger. Lovely. Massaging. Cool. Well done. Let that go. All right, everybody. Lots of love. See you again. Bye-bye.